happening, everyone? Welcome on back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here, for clicking on the video. There's 1,000 other places you could have been right now, but you chose to be here for this moment, so I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to listen to Harry Chapin. I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name. I've never heard anything from him or heard of him. We're listening to this track, Cats in the Cradle. This is the first track off of the album Verities and Balderdash, which was released in 1974. So let me already take a little bit of my word back. I've heard of him, but I've never, as far as I know, heard a track by him. If I remember correctly, the song Taxi, which I see here also listed, is Daniel's favorite song over on Dissectional. If I remember, when I talked to him, I'm pretty sure that he said that was his favorite song. So we're not listening to that song. We're listening to this song, but that's at least where I've heard his name from. Anyways, let's go ahead and give the track a listen. We'll talk about it after. Let's dive on in.
And the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man. See you later, can I have them please?
Mr. Chance.
And the cats in the cradle and it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me.
All right, we have to talk about that. Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. 3 minutes 42 seconds is how long this track is. In 3 minutes and 42 seconds, Harry Chapin, I'm so sorry, I'm just gonna say Harry. Harry said, performed, and did so much that bands and artists struggle to do over their careers. He put into such a small amount of time relative a brilliant, heartfelt, heart-wrenching, cautionary tale to families, to people. He brought about this beautiful, beautiful musical composition with really touching strings from guitar, but also the orchestra itself. Love the way that the rhythm played on the drums there as well. How after the choruses you get those little leftover, those little kicks, almost as if like echoing the intensity of the chorus. Just those echoes, just rebounding. That was a great choice. I really enjoyed that. The way the bass came in as well. Like just a brilliant composition from a musical standpoint. But like I said, lyrically, that's where it really delivers. And Harry himself, I loved his voice as well. There's I mean, maybe this is just because of the lyrics as well, but there's a fatherly touch to it. There's a tone. I don't know anything about Harry, but I wouldn't doubt if he's writing from a personal standpoint on here, just because you can really feel the heart that he's displaying here. If he's not writing from a personal standpoint and he just wrote this as like a story, a fictional story, obviously that could be applied to many places and many families and such that we could all probably take a look into. Well, that's just brilliant creativity to me. But the way that he wrote it, I mean, that is absolutely wonderful. Let's kind of dive into some of these lyrics here, because this is really, really good. My child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking before I knew it. And as he grew, he said, "Dad, I'm gonna be like you. You know, I'm gonna be like you." So already we're already getting the story. We're already getting the setup. This new dad, he is putting, career, job, other things in front of family time and spending time specifically with his newborn child. Now, obviously there's bills to pay, there's things to do, but come on now. Missing the first time that the kid's walking, talking. And I love the ending line of the verse. It's so foreboding and so smart. When the child says, "Dad, I want to be like you," because what child doesn't want to be like their dad, their mom? Children want to be like their parents, and we're already getting that. The chorus, and the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you coming home, Dad? I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. Always putting it off. Always putting it off. My son just turned 10 just the other day. So before we go any further, I just want to say this is so cool. And it's almost a little bit meta. There's really 3 verses in this, 4 verses in this song. So first verse, newborn. And, just beginning to speak. So I don't know what, I'm not a dad. So I don't know anything 2 or 3 maybe by the end of the first verse. Moving into the second verse, we've skipped a lot of years and now he's 10. Obviously, for the sake of a song, you have to skip time and move the story along. But doesn't that also kind of break the fourth wall in showing how much time was missed between the ages of, let's just say, I don't know, 2 to 3, and now he's 10. Doesn't that kind of just like break the fourth wall a little bit and show how much time was missed? I don't know, I think so. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, "Thanks for the ball, Dad. Come on, let's play." Like the dad's buying him stuff, but not actually interacting and being a father. Can you teach me to throw? I said, "Not today. I got a lot to do." He said, "That's okay." Walked away. His smile never dimmed. He said, "I'm going to be like him." Blah, 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 blah. Like a child is always going to be more forgiving of their parents. Like, oh, that's fine. It's not a big deal. You know, it never affected him in that way. But it did affect, you know, I mean, as we see later on. Repeating the chorus there. Well, he came from college just the other day. Once again, big time skip. So much like a man, I just had to say, "Son, I'm proud of you. Can you sit for a while?" He shook his head and said, "Yeah, that's nice, but can I get the keys? I gotta go." So now we begin to see that cycle. Now the cycle has gone 60 degrees, 180 degrees. We're on the other side of the cycle, and it's about to come back around to the top. I've long since retired. My son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, "I'd like to see you if you don't mind." He said, "I'd love to, Dad, if I can find the time. Job's a hassle. Kids have the flu. It's sure been nice talking to you." And as I hung up the phone, that cycle's coming complete. It occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. So I guess in the end, he did grow up to be just like Dad. That's a hard-hitting track. And I think that's a track, a message that a lot of people can relate to. Not even if it's not in this specific way or this specific instance. I think that a lot of people, whether you are parents, and we're all children in some respect, or were, can relate to this in some capacity, and trying to break certain cycles, trying to, for lack of a better word, give people their flowers and their roses before they can't smell them, trying to spend time with those people that one day you may not have anymore. You know, like, I know that it affects me personally thinking about it, and thinking about my relationship with my parents and such, and how I try to be there just as they were there, fortunately, for me. Like, I think that is a great message. It's universal. Brilliant song. Absolutely capital B brilliance. Looking into this track and some of the information about it, it says that it became Harry's only #1 song, became a staple of his work as well. It says that the song's lyrics began as a poem written by his wife, Sandra "Sandy" Gaston. The poem itself was inspired by the awkward relationship between her first husband and his father, John, a politician who served, blah, blah, blah. She was also inspired by a country music song she had heard on the radio. Harry said that the song was about his own relationship with his son, Josh, admitting, "Frankly, this song scares me to death." That line, when he says, "Frankly, this song scares me to death," how emotional is that? There's so many things in the world that we can all be scared of, that we can fear. There's so much happening. And I know at the time there was so much happening then. But he says this song, this event, this situation is what scares him. It's what keeps him up at night. I think that is brilliant, like I said. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of the track, though. In the comments down below, you can follow me over on Twitter, support the channel on Patreon. I appreciate you spending some time with me. Thank you for being here. Come on back tomorrow, and I will talk to you all then, guys. Bye.